I guess one thing I also wanted to learn from you are some of your, I guess, not just study techniques, but also time management techniques. Like, what have you been using to survive through this period during this pivot to stay on top of your game and make sure you get your work done and make sure, but also make sure, there's time for you and self-care?
Yeah. Um, I will say I'll be pretty transparent here. I have the financial means because I saved when I
Mhm.
was working at the restaurant. I worked at
Yeah.
like a nicer restaurant, and so I was always a person to have a nest egg should anything happen. So when the pandemic hit, I wasn't like totally devastated. So
Mhm.
I say that only because I think people need to hear it when like, oh, take some time and, take a break, take a breather, go to the pool. You know what I mean? Like I do that stuff because I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
but I understand that not everyone can. But I do
Right.
think that, being realistic with the things that you can accomplish is one of the most important things that you can do. Together with my other suggestion is that do not overhype a goal. And what I mean by that is that I have this horrible, horrible trait where I say, okay, once I get X, then everything will magically be great. Once I get the job, then my
Wow.
whole life will turn around.
Yeah.
Once I get a salary position at a company, the world will open up and Jesus will come back and I'll be like, yay, everything's fantastic. But that's not how it
Yeah.
works. So, like,
Yes.
together with being realistic with your expectations, that will help you, I think, really celebrate the small wins. And then also realizing that once you hit these milestones, not everything will be perfect. That just means you'll have other problems to deal with. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That's totally fine. But I think that we like really set ourselves up for failure. And I do this myself when I don't realize that hitting a certain goal doesn't mean that things will magically change 100%. Like, yeah, if I hit the Powerball, sure. Like, Tamara, you're getting 1 million, and like
Yes.
we're taking this podcast to the moon. But
Yes.
if when that doesn't happen, you know what I mean? We have to be okay with that. And I think that allows us to really settle into like the magic that is getting to those goals. So that would be my two pieces of advice for people is really manage your expectations of what you can do on a day-to-day basis. And then realize too that there's goals that lead you to goals that lead you to more goals. It's a path.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what engineering is so great at, I think, is that it is just baby pieces building on baby pieces, building on baby pieces. And
Right.
so like
Right.
when we have that mindset mentally, I think it kind of lends itself to what we're doing anyways. So it's kind of beautiful in that way, just like building little Legos.
Wow. Hey, sis, I feel like I'm in a therapy session or something. You're like, you have such great advice, and you're like walking in my head for things that I experience because I'm that person that will say things like, okay, when I get this, everything will be better. Like,
Exactly.
I have this
Yep.
huge goal of moving to Singapore, and
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I should have just left in 2019. When I get there, everything is going to be so great.
Yep. Yep.
But no, like, it's good, I guess, to have like a big picture goal, but I have to take the small steps in between and be okay with the small steps in between
Yeah.
that will eventually get me to that point. I can't like put everything on hold because I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't anymore, but I know mindful meditation is goes hand in hand with that type of understanding of being present for these small moments of joy and then
Yeah.
really reveling in them, or even these small moments or big moments where
Hmm.
there's lots of pain, because
Yeah.
then you're present for the entire journey and
Yeah.
you're not so fixated on that end point of X is going to happen and then everything will be great. So I say that to people who are listening, not because I'm some like wise sage, but because
Yeah.
I mess up with it. And I know
Yeah.
that when I do it,
Yeah.
it does help manage expectations, and everything does seem to be a little bit easier when it's more like when you're consuming the present more than focusing on the future.
Yeah. That's like this book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. That's
Mm.
what this sounds like to me. I feel like we're on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday podcast or something. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I should just start asking people about like the books that they read, like to,
Yeah.
motivate themselves. Because I'm also curious about mindset shifts. Like, what are
Hmm.
the things that you do to basically change your mindset to prepare you for this next phase?
Yeah.
What books do you read? What do you meditate? Like, what are you doing? What routines are you doing every day to
Hmm.
be consistent with yourself to make sure you get to that end goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep up with family. I'm a very family oriented person. So I call my mom all the time. I'm very close with my grandparents, and I'm lucky to have such amazing grandparents, and, talk to friends all the time. So I'm very much that person that will always communicate and reach out. And so, like, I get energy from other people's positive energy, like
Hmm.
just a simple,
Hmm.
hey, how you doing, how are things going, like just to catch up. It like fuels me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and
Wow.
maybe it's weird because I'm like, oh well, I don't want to just hop on the phone the next day and be like, yeah, nothing's new, it's literally the exact same. So maybe
Yeah.
that's the energy I'm getting. I'm like, all right, I got to work on this after I'm done talking, so I can go back and like impress them with like my little baby goals that I accomplish. But who knows? But communicating and being like a pillar of my own little like peer group is kind of what helps me move through the day. So
Okay. Okay.
I'm a
Cool.
people person. That's why I worked in the restaurant industry for so long. I can just like I talk to a rock, I just like people.
Cool. So, what advice would you give any other fellows, or any students coming after you that are looking to take a similar journey, to do a similar pivot? And I guess not just students, like people who are switching careers, people who may feel like, oh, I'm too old to do this, or I don't have an experience to do this. Like, what advice would you give them?
I would say take chances. I think it's really important to take chances on um, industries that you may have always thought of that are interesting. And for instance, I was in the fintech space with my startup. And then when I stepped away from it, the second week in our DS4A program, someone on that same Tech Idea Slack channel, if you are all interested out there, please, like, I'm gonna name drop Tech Idea Slack channel, TECHQUERIA, check it out. And there was a gentleman who posted, hey, I'm looking for someone who's interested in data science to join my startup. We're a payments processing company in Atlanta.
Wow.
So they then took me on. I've been utilizing what we've learned in DS4A in that internship.
Wow.
And I I'm a person who, as you can tell, like, I love talking to people. So I'm not really introverted and I'm not afraid to jump into new spaces. But for those people that are, if you have always had an inkling of curiosity for anything that's maybe tech related or can be empowered by tech, but you just don't know how, Google is your friend. Check it out. There's so many places that are starting up and utilizing tech, and they could use our knowledge, especially people that have, done the DS4A bootcamp. And even for people that haven't and people that want to learn, there are a lot of opportunities. And I will say this with a caveat. I know I have the financial resources to do so. So it makes it a little bit easier for me. Not that I have unlimited resources, but
Yeah.
I can manage certain things a little bit easier because of that.
Yeah.
But even like an hour or two a day, you know what I mean? Like, if you have that opportunity, I would definitely say take those chances and take a look at the startup space, or maybe these like small business space, or people with Series A funding. And I know there is a DS4A um, mention in one of the groups talking about, like, here are the 40 companies that just got Series A funding, meaning like
Oh
investors
yeah.
came
Yeah.
in and
Hmm.
gave them funding, and now they're looking to expand their employee base. And
Hmm.
so it's a great opportunity for people that are like, listen, I know you can't pay me a lot, but I'm also like just really interested. I just want to learn. And
Yeah.
so that would be my advice to people, is really just take chances and be okay with having a non-linear path to success, because that's the way it works, man. It's going to wind in strange ways, and it's going to take you along a curved path to success. But if you're open to it, I think that really helps you grow as a person, and I think you're happier professionally when you do that stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Awesome advice. Thank you so much, Jesus, for
You're
spending the
welcome.
time with us and dropping so many gems. I hope people are taking notes because you need to write down all of this information, but we'll definitely have like the links to that Slack channel that you mentioned in the show notes. Do you have any socials that you want to drop in case anyone wants to, contact you for help or any more information?
Yeah, they can email me and I'll leave you my email. It's Jesus, my first name dot Delent,
Mhm.
my last name at gmail.com. And you can leave them there in the links. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't, I guess I don't like mentor people. I have
Mhm.
never mentored someone, but
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, I don't really have the time in my schedule right now. But, if we have like an open communication, if someone wants to just reach out with like a quick chat or something, it could be my schedule opens a little bit more in the future. But I'm always happy to talk to people. I'm always happy to give my advice or look over stuff. Just like a little anecdote, 10 seconds. There was a guy on our Slack channel for DS for he's like, hey, I'm thinking of like buying this bar in Ohio. And he was from Phoenix. And so I like hopped on a call with him. I was like, don't buy that bar. I was like, have you been a bar owner? He's like, no, I've never owned a bar. I don't even know anything about the restaurant industry. I was like, don't do that. No, no, no. I was like, do not do that. I have so much experience. Please, like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So, if anyone is out there like looking to buy a restaurant, like, please contact me and I can help you walk through some stuff to look for.
Okay, perfect. So we have about 4 more weeks left of our fellowship program.
Mhm.
Is it okay to check back in with you in maybe 4 weeks or 6 weeks just to see where you are on your journey and
Yeah.
also get some advice about startups and all the startup knowledge you have?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Yeah, you can always reach out to me. I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what our projects are like too, because since we're
Yeah.
nearing the end, we're all kind of like putting these pieces together. And so we can definitely chat about like challenges and like
Yeah.
be like, guess what I created and show each other. So it should be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Cool. Thank you so much, Jesus. It's been an awesome time talking to you, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Tamara.
I think little by little,
And also for me,